Hi, welcome back to my channel, and I hope you're all having a great day today. The video I'm going to make for you guys today is about basic makeup application. We are starting off with my base foundation, primer, and eyebrows already on, and I set it all with a translucent powder. And I'm going to start off with eyeshadow application and kind of the basic brushes that I use. And I'm going to use the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I have four of these types of palettes from Too Faced, but this is the palette that I'm going to use today. And you start off with your eyeshadow application. You start off with a fluffy blending brush, and this is the one this is the type of style that I like to use. And this one is from Morphe, and it is a Morphe E23. And you always want to start off with a translucent shade. So I'm starting off with this color right here in the palette that is called Puree. And I'm going to put that in my crease. Now, I apply a little bit to start off, but you always want to start with the blending shade, transition shade. I can't talk today. And this will help you blend out your other colors easier. So my eyes are slightly hooded, meaning you can't see my whole lid because of a little bit drooping. And so I tend to put my transition shade a little bit higher, right up to here. And the key to eyeshadow application, for it to look, in my opinion, for it to look seamless, is blending. You can never blend too much. So again, this is a fluffy blending brush, and it is a little bit larger, which I tend to like because I like it right here, and I blend all of this. And I will blend it a little bit higher here because, again, my eyelids are hooded. So you tap into your palette or your transition color, and you always want to shake a little off just to make sure that you don't have fallout, which means the powder falling all over your face. Some people tend to put their foundation on after their eyeshadow, just in case you do have a lot of fallout. Then it's easier to clean up and then apply your foundation instead of having all this powder color everywhere. This is how I usually do it, and I try to be a little bit neat, you know, tapping off my brush so there's not a lot of fallout to clean up. So I start kind of looking down and circular, and a lot of people call it windshield wiper movements. So you do this. The first place you place your brush down is where the most concentrated amount of color is going to be. So when I first tap into my palette and tap off the excess, I will place it typically right here, and you'll see that the color is slightly darker there. And I will blend it in like this, where I want the lighter part of the color to be in here. And I'll look down to see how dark it is and how much color has been placed. And so you swirl, and you see this is a fluffy, pliable type of brush, blending brushes, and that's what you want so that it blends easily and you're not putting a large amount of color there. And it's easier to build up your color than put a whole bunch of color there and try to figure out what to do with it, and then you have too much color. You always want to start with the small amount and you blend, and that's why you cannot blend too much, because you put, you know, and if that's not dark enough, then I'm going to go back in and apply more. And I'm going slightly into my lid and windshield wiper movements. And as I'm doing it, I'm looking up and looking down to see. And there we go. And so I'm going to do a lighter eyeshadow application today. I tend to like brighter colors, but I know a lot of people are not into brighter colors. So this is going to be a basic shadow application. And so I'm going to load up my brush again, tap off, and do the same thing. So I place it first, kind of do that, the swirling motion, and it's a little bit darker there, and then I'm going to blend it in. And then you kind of want to go in to blend it out. And then I kind of do this, whatever's left over on the brush, I kind of blend it higher up. Then I look down, and I have a little bit of rough textured patches on each side. So the highest quality eyeshadows, I tend to have to go back over because they don't stick well no matter what I do. And I forgot to mention, the best way to keep your eyeshadow vibrant throughout the day is to apply an eyeshadow primer. And I have multiple types that I use. I don't have any specific that I like over the other, but most eyeshadow primers are slightly tacky, so they will make your eyeshadow adhere better. You'll get better color payoff, excuse me, and it will last longer throughout the day, and your eyeshadow will be more vibrant. I have more pigmented lids, so my eyelids look a little darker, and so it helps even out the color, even out eyeshadow primer helps even out the color of your lids. Or if you have, you know, some bluish veins or something, it helps even it out. And so I'm looking up and down just to see, and I'm using my camera as a mirror, so it's a little bit different than I would normally do. I usually have a handheld mirror in front of me and I'm looking at it. And so I think that is enough. And you can also put it on your eyelid, because again, this is your transition color. Most of your eyeshadow is going to be layered on top of it and you'll barely see it, but it'll help blend it better, because you want kind of an ombre look. And again, this is basic eyeshadow application. It's not going to be anything crazy. And so there we go. So I leave the brush that I've used to the side because I have a whole cup of brushes and I don't want to be digging through them looking for the one I used. And so my next color I'm going to use is going to be my a color that I'm going to place right here. And so I'm going to use a smaller brush. It's going to be slightly more tapered. It's not going to be as fluffy to place my application of eyeshadow down. So this is the brush that I'm going to use, and this is from BH Cosmetics, and it's from a set. But if you notice the difference, it's not as fluffy. It's more thickly packed because I'm going to use it to place my color. And so the color I'm going to use is going to be slightly darker than that, because you want a mid-toned color for that. The color I place here is going to be probably the darkest color I'm going to use for this whole look. And I think I'm going to use the color right next to the transition color that I used. It's going to be this one right here. And it is called Summer Yum. And it's a slightly more reddish, darker brown. And again, I tap my brush on there. I'm not digging in to mess up my palette, slightly tapping off any excess. And these palettes tend to not have a lot of fallout, in my opinion, so there's not going to be a lot of mess. And I'm going to use my palette's mirror just to get a little closer. And I'm going to place it right here, and kind of the same thing, but not as high. And it's going to make, again, tapping, it's going to make this color a little bit more vibrant right on the corner, and kind of a C shape, but I'm not going as high as the first color because I just want it to look slightly darker there. I'm putting a little bit more pressure than I would with the blending brush because I want the color more concentrated in the C shape that I'm placing here. I'm going to pack a little bit more color on my brush. I don't always tap off because I want this color to be, when I'm doing this step, I want this color to be a little bit more vibrant. So I'm going to pack it on a little bit darker than I would the transition shade. So it's a little bit darker in the C than this one, if you notice the difference. And so this one is almost halfway. So if you open your eyeball, I'm not going past right there. And so all you're going to see basically is that color, but I'm going for the ombre blended out look. And the key is to build it up, not put a whole bunch on and then try to blend it out and you had a mess. And your eyeshadow can tend to look muddy when you do that. And so I think that's about as dark as I want it. So going to the other eye, doing the same thing. So I'm going to kind of pack it on there to start. And I lift up my eyebrows too, you know, to smooth out the wrinkle so I can get it in the little corner there of my eye. I'm doing the C-shaped again, so kind of this way and then going up there, going around in a C. And then I'm lifting up the brush and flicking it out to blend it out to make it look smooth. Because I don't want patchiness. I don't want the color to look uneven. And you can kind of get a cat eye effect if you flick it out a little bit, especially if you have a darker color. See how it's kind of coming to a point there? It tends to make your corners of your eyes look more open. I'm always going back and forth, back to my original blending brush to blend all these colors together. The edges, and that's the whole purpose of your transition shade, is to make it all look blended together. Sometimes I'll look at it and think, oh, this one has more of the blending, the transition color out here, so I'll go back in and add a little bit more. And I'm just doing the same thing. I'm flicking out just to even it out. And sometimes when you get too far in with that darker color, you need to blend in because you'll see a harsh line. Blending it out. Looking up and down to make sure it looks even on both eyes. I'm going to add a little bit more of that second darker color right here. And I look at it up close and far away. And I think that, and then now I'm going to apply some of this transition color, the first color, underneath here. And I don't tend to wear a lot of dark eyeliner, but I use eyeshadow as my kind of eyeliner effect. I'm looking for the right type of brush. I want it to be a little bit flattened, and I want it to be, here we go. So I tend to use this type of brush. It is flat, and you see the little pinched edge to along my lower lash line to blend this color in. And I want to blend it all the way and connect with this other color. And again, to look seamless. So I'm going to go back to that first color, Puree, and pack that brush on. Again, just tapping on there. Just tapping that color on both sides. And I place it down, and I only go halfway because I do have some wrinkles when I look down. And so I start at right in the middle and I brush it out. And if you notice the difference, it makes my lower lash line look a little darker, almost like I have eyeliner on. And I forgot to mention, if you don't know, these chocolate bar palettes have different scents. This one smells like peach. Oh my god, it smells good. Every time you put your eyeshadow on, you can smell it. The other one has chocolate scented that I have. Two of them are chocolate scented. So I build it up as much as I'd like. And I tend to use the darkest color in the palette. And I don't want it to go too dark, like black, too harsh. So I'll go with the darkest brown or the darkest purple, the darkest blue, whatever, you know, color scheme you have going on. That one is not giving me the effect I want. I think it's not dark enough. So I'm going to go down to this color called Caramelize. And it's like a shimmery brown. I'm going to see if that one's a little bit darker. Because I haven't used this palette in a while, so I can't remember which one will give me the... There we go. I think that will work. And so the same thing on the upper lid lash line. I'm going to use this to give me a kind of eyeliner effect. And you can do this, kind of doing it backwards. You can do this. I tend to do this as my last step, but since I'm doing the bottom. And so you can also use your same original blending brush. I kind of pinch it down to blend this color out to make it look more smooth. And again, attach it to the other color. And so now the other eye. I think I'll combine both of these colors because that's what it basically did. And makeup is a personal preference, so there's no right and wrong way to do it. I mean, I watch many YouTube videos and people do their eyeshadow in many different ways, and I just, from watching, I came up with my own method of how I like to do it. So you do what's right for you, and don't let anyone tell you that you're doing your makeup wrong, because it is very personal, and it's just makeup. We're just playing with makeup, having fun. And I find this very relaxing to apply my makeup. So I kind of have a little cat eye effect. So I'm kind of cleaning it up a little, make sure it looks even. And now I'm going to go to a shimmery color to apply right there. And I'm going to use my finger. Shimmery colors, to me, apply better with your finger. And I've used this peachy color before, just peachy. So I think I'm going to use that one on my lid. Either that one or those. Those two are very similar. This one's more pink. So I think I'm going to try just peachy first. And it looks very pink, but once you put it on, it's kind of going to sheer out. But to me, this is a transformative effect, because as soon as you put this on, you get that little pop of color in there, and it really brings your eyes out. So again, with my finger, and I'm tapping and kind of blending out. I'm going all the way to the inner corner, and I'm overlapping it with that other brown color down here, but we're going to go back and add some more to blend it out so it looks blended out and seamless. So I'm going back and forth, closing my eyelids, make sure, and I'm just going on my eyelids, I'm not going too high. There we go. And again, I'm going to go back to my blending brush and just make sure everything looks seamless. Maybe add a little bit more of that color, one tap. And then if you'd like, you also go with your brightest shimmery color, and you can add it in the corners of your eye to make your eyes stand out more, which I tend to do. And you can add that same shimmery color to your under eyebrow there to highlight it. And so I tend to use a small, tiny, like a detail brush they call it, or a small pencil brush. Let's see if I have one in here. Yeah. So this one is even tinier than the other one, but it's flat, so I can easily get in the corner there like that. So I'm going to use the most shimmery color in here, the lightest color, just to highlight the corner. I think I'm going to use that one, and it is called Peaches and Cream. So again, just lightly tap on there, tap off any excess, and you put it in the corner, kind of blend it into the other color. And if you notice the difference, how bright it makes your eyes and brings out your eyes more. Just the tiniest amount, you don't need a lot. And make sure you blend it in so it's not a stark white and it sticks out and not blended in. And again, I can't emphasize blend, blend, blend. You can't blend too much. And I'm going to add a little to my brow bone just to highlight it, just a tiny bit there. You see the difference? How it brightens it up. And to the other side, just a little. Oh, I think I put too much. Let me fix that. And I always get eyeshadow on my eyebrow, then I have a shimmery eyebrow, which is not what we're going for. But I'm constantly doing this to see where the color is and how well it looks with my eyes open and closed and looking straight ahead. And I think I am happy with this now. And again, this is a basic look with a pretty natural palette. I tend to go very bright, but I wanted to just go basic today. So there we go with the eyeshadow application. So now we are going to go to mascara and show you how I do my mascara. So I've always curled my eyelashes because I have short, thick eyelashes and they are straight. so they do not curl. But as long as I use an eyelash curler and waterproof mascara, it tends to look better. So let me go get my mascara. Okay. So the two mascaras I'm going to use, just because I'm going to be extra, I'm going to use my little mirror here, is my favorite, is the Maybelline Colossal Volume Express Waterproof. So this one I like. It's a cat eye effect one because it has a curved brush. And when you buy a new mascara, it is more wet. To me, it works better as it dries out a little over a few days. This one's, you know, been opened a while. So curl my eyelashes first. And this is my magnifying mirror side. And I'll go over them multiple times just to get the amount of curl that I want. I'm sorry this video is so long. I'm trying to be quicker with my videos, not stretch them out so long. That's why I applied my foundation first, to try to make this not so long. So same thing, I look up and down to see. I look sideways to see how curled my lashes are. And I'll curl the ends, in the middle, and the base. The ends to me still look a little straight. And for some reason, this left eye always curls better than my right eye. But I think I'm going to use two mascaras. One, a different mascara on my bottom lash line, just because it makes it look thicker, this other mascara, but it does straighten out my lashes if you on the top. So like I said, I'm going to be extra and use two different ones. Okay, I think I have the appropriate curl that I want. So I'm just going to breeze through this because I think most people know how to apply mascara. You know, you start at the base and you wiggle up to get the appropriate amount of mascara you want. And I tend to put on a lot of mascara, but again, today I'm going to do a more natural look. And so there we go, the difference. Like I said, I have long lashes. They're just short. They're just not curly. So curling them really makes a difference in my looks. Oh, and then of course I get it on my lid. So a tip is, if you get mascara on your lid or anywhere on your skin, let it dry before you start to mess with it and try to rub it off. Because once it's dry, you can smear it off with your finger or another brush. I'm just going to use this mascara for the bottom lashes. And just scrape it off with your fingernail or rub it off with the makeup brush once it's dry. Your mascara mistake, which I do it all the time. It comes off really easy. Even the waterproof mascara, it'll just rub right off your skin. And I think that'll do it. A little bit more on this bottom lash. And I'll get the end of it, if you're watching, and kind of flick it outward to make those outer lashes look a little flared out, and it'll open up your eyes more. Oh my God, I got so much mascara on me. And there we go. I think that mascara is drying up, so let me find a brush to flick this off. There we go, it's coming off. Might have to add more eyeshadow because I kind of messed it up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna add more eyeshadow in the corner there because I messed it up. So I'm gonna go back to this brush. go. There we go. And then I'm going to add a little bit of blush, and I will talk about this blush later on, but it is one of my new favorite blushes. Did I bring a blush? Actually, I'm going to do some real quick highlighting, contouring, basically just bronzing. So this will help contour your face and bring out the high points. I'm going to do my forehead and a little bit of my cheekbones. Then blend it out. And bring it toward my ears and down my neck to make sure everything blends. Just emphasizing those cheekbones so it'll slim your face down. Blend it toward your ears and into your hairline. So again, blending it all in so you don't have those harsh lines and you see these dark colors. You can do under your nose to make your nose smaller, and under your bottom lip to make your bottom lip look bigger, more of those pouty lipped. Okay. And again, I tend to do more, but I'm just doing basic today. And then now I'm going to do my blush. Blush brush. This is kind of a big blush brush, I think, but it'll work. You can use an angled brush or a flat one. Tap. Smile. I go on the tops of my cheeks and blend out. Kind of blend up. And again, I'm doing one tap and blending it out as opposed to applying a bunch of blush and trying to blend it out, because you'll never be able to blend it all out and look right. And it's not a lot of color, but I do the tops of my cheeks because to me the rosier they look up here, it brings your cheeks up, gives you a younger appearance. We all want to look younger. So just 1 or 2 taps, and I see a little bit of color on there. And I know that this blush is not very pigmented, which I like, because if it was very pigmented, I'll have a bunch of color and I'll have a difficult time blending it out. And I think we're done. That is my basic makeup application. So hopefully it helps someone out, because that's how I learned to do makeup better. I became better at my makeup application by watching YouTube videos and kind of coming up with my own techniques. So when I smile, it gives me a youthful appearance. And then always finish off your makeup with a setting spray. I like this one. It's fairly cheap and it lasts a long time, this small bottle. And setting your makeup will make it last longer throughout the day, especially if you have oily skin. It'll keep it from getting too oily. It will bring down the powder effect of the powder you apply on your face and kind of mesh all your makeup together and blend it into your skin better. So, you know, arm's length away and spray. There we go. Dry a little bit and I think we're done. Thank you for watching. Sorry this video was so long. And that was my basic makeup application. I didn't use any lipstick because, again, basic makeup application. We can go into that later, but I appreciate all your support on my YouTube videos, and questions, comments, any suggestions on other videos that I should do. But thank you again for watching, and hope you have a good day.